Good morning and happy Tuesday to everybody on YouTube, to all my subscribers. Welcome to today's video on Sterling on Cinemas. That's Cinemas with an S. And today for the Tyler Perry playlist, I'll be giving you my review on Nobody's Fool, starring Tiffany Haddish and Tika Sumpter. Before I begin, if you are new to this channel, don't forget to follow. Don't forget to subscribe. Click that bell to keep up to date with all things SOS coming imminently in the next few weeks and in the future, and most importantly, watched. And also don't forget to like and share and comment on whatever good or bad you have to say about Nobody's Fool. After serving 5 years in prison, wild child Tanya, played by Tiffany Haddish, looks to her button-up, book-by-the-book sister Danica, played by Tika Sumpter, to help her get back on her feet. The feisty ex-con becomes suspicious and concerned when Danica tells her that she's in a long-distance online relationship with a mysterious man she's never seen. That don't work. As the polar opposites start to collide, Tanya soon discovers that her siblings' picture-perfect life may not be what it seems. It's catfish. Nobody's Fool is very easy to call hilarious and outrageous, but does not really identify itself as a Tyler Perry film. Even in his comedies, there can be an equal amount of drama and never feels one-sided. Now, when watching Nobody's Fool, I was given a clear picture that even though it is directed and produced by Tyler Perry, it is a comedy that is a huge step away from the signature formula. Tyler Perry, or at least Paramount Pictures or BET Plus Films, decided to make a comedy that feels like it was produced by Will Packer. Do you guys know Will Packer? I'm sure most of you know Will Packer. If you've seen Think Like a Man, if you've seen Night School or Girls Trip, A Wedding Ringer, or any of those comedies, you get an idea of what I'm talking about. Like these outrageous, stupidly funny, so bad it's good comedies starring a few black familiar faces in Hollywood. Now, Will Packer makes multiple different films, but his comedies are the ones that are memorable with the black ensemble cast, like Kevin Hart, most notably. The comedy even lacks the usual melodrama that is in between the Tyler Perry films. Let's try again. The comedy even lacks the usual melodrama in between that Tyler Perry's films are notorious for. There we go. When it tries to be melodramatic, it still results in being funny. Prior to this, I acknowledge that the Single Moms Clubs, you want to check that out on this channel. It's very good. It's gotten a lot of views. I would love for you to contribute to that. Was the easiest Tyler Perry movie to watch, even amidst the melodrama. However, Nobody's Fool is easy and enjoyable enough to be watched, but minus the nitty-gritty TP formula and the poisonous drama. To see Tyler Perry make a comedy of this caliber is just an amazing palate cleanser from the things we are used to seeing from him. And this is the only comedy of his that had me falling out of my seat, dying on the floor, mostly because someone that was watching it with me was doing all this unnecessary stuff during those scenes. While the story itself is not the most intriguing to come from him, or even come close to the average, the comedy does not disappoint to the degree where it is hard to scuff off the so bad it's good vibes. When you are watching a Tyler Perry comedy, you know the black ensemble will meet expectations. But if it gives off Will Packer style vibes, a Will Packer style of humor, that's even better. The majority of the cast has already worked or would work with Tyler Perry later on. And the one that easily adds to the humongous humor is obviously Tiffany Haddish's Tanya. It shouldn't really matter whether or not every line came from the character, because Tiffany Haddish is just being Tiffany Haddish because she ready. But when we enter her character already doing some outrageous stuff, and it sets the comedic mood from that point on. Having Tiffany Haddish in the Tyler Perry comedy is part of what makes it feel like a Will Packer comedy, since she would have already been in two at the time, which would be Girls Trip and Night School, which both are funny. The way that everybody else reacts off of Tyler Perry's would react off of Tiffany Haddish's nutty humor is priceless at times, but mostly becomes Will Packer-ish to where it starts to become relatively provocative before it gets downright hilarious. When you make the claim of nobody's full, including some type of commonality, then it depends on how you see the dynamic and the romantic connection between Danica and Omari Hardwick's Frank. Now, Frank would be one of the select male characters in the Tyler Perry films to have a different mindset and demeanor when it comes to how the men are perceived in these films. The slow and intimate moments between the characters of Danica and Frank, I say Danica, not Danica, even though they've said Danica, it's Danica, come off less melodramatic and more emotionally bittersweet, which is refreshing to see in a Tyler Perry movie. Throughout, we learn that Danica is supposedly being catfished by who he thought was Charlie, but turns out to be some handicapped player played by Chris Rock. There we go. Chris Rock behind the laptop, getting all the good parking spaces, ain't you? And he makes the most of giving laughs in such little screen time. But the biggest laugh out loud moments come from Mehcad Brooks' Charlie. The shallow wild animal that Danica has eyes for, that she thought she was being catfished by. Rotten Tomatoes gives it a 26% recommendation for Nobody's Full. It may be far from Tyler Perry's signature taste, but Nobody's Full proves to be outlandishly earning off all of the laughs produced through the ridiculous comedy it conveys, even if it is deprived off of commonality to share to the audience as well as an empowering or moving story. But for that, I will give it an 8 out of 10, just for being a very refreshing comedy inside of Tyler Perry's collection of films and dramas and comedies, even though this feels very much like one of Will Packer's work. But that is my review on Nobody's Full. If you ain't seen it in a long time, you can probably go back and watch it. It'll probably be better or more funnier than you remember. Or if you haven't seen it, you can take a chance to check this one out. If you are a Tyler Perry fan and you're looking for refreshing good medicine for the day, you can go ahead and check this one out, and it will not waste your time. Trust me. But that is my review on Nobody's Fool. You can let me know what you think of it in the comments below if you've seen it, and I'll see you guys next time.